So, this is my perfect day exercise. This is an exercise that the point of it is to bring um, clarity to the path you want your life to take. I'm a big proponent of us being in charge of our lives. Uh, that's a big part of what purposeful fitness is doing things with a purpose, and the purpose should follow what we want to have, what we want to achieve, what we want to go through. And that's only possible if we're actively in the driver's seat of our life. Big part of the um, reason why this perfect day exercise is impactful is because many people are a passenger in the car that's their life. And what I mean by that is very often we end up somewhere because of what we think is that's just where life went. From coaching many people I know, that career, relationships, um, where you live, your hobbies are very much defined not by your own choices. How many people do we know that are like, I have this job for a long time. Um, it's kind of where I started, or it's like the first job I got and I got promoted and so forth. And they're 30, 40, 50 year olds. They don't really like their job. They're just doing because they've been doing it for so long, right? They got into it. That's all they know. It's too hard to come out of that job into a new job, or it's very hard to start something new, give up this maybe steady and consistent income that they have to try to do something different. But we know, anecdotally, we know people who would love to be doing something else, but they're stuck in this job, right? Same thing with where you live. Same thing with who you hang out with. Your inner circle of friends. Maybe it's something that you've had for a long time, but we know how important it is to have people that love you and support you and encourage you around you. And maybe that's not who we have around us, but they're the people that we hung out in college. They're the people that are co-workers. They're the people that go to the same gym as we do and so forth. And very often we just kind of lead life until one moment we're like, oh my God, I'm 40, I'm 50, I'm 60 years old, and I didn't get to accomplish anything I did. I spent too much time in a job that I don't like. I spent too much time in a place that I don't like. So this exercise is aimed to fix that, to give you the clarity that you need to figure out where you want to go. And based on that, we take steps to get there. So this perfect day exercise is you describing an ordinary day on your perfect life. It's not a perfect day because that might be, and I don't want to say unrealistic because this exercise is going to be a little bit unrealistic, but if you imagine a perfect day, you might say something like, well, I'll wake up in France and I go and take my private jet to Italy and I have lunch there. And at night, I go down to Greece. That would be a perfect day. Like, that would be awesome to do all that in a day. But it's not going to be something that you can do every single day uh, for a long time, right? So the idea is to create an ordinary day, an everyday in a perfect life. That doesn't mean that every day is going to be like that, right? You might still take vacations. You might still do other things that are outside of this perfect day. But it's the perfect day for most of your days, right? Now, once we get that out of the way, you can be as unrealistic as possible, right? So the idea is that you sit down and you write in as much detail as possible the timeline of your day. What time do you wake up? Where do you wake up? What does the room look like? What do you smell? What do you see? Who do you see? You open the windows. What do you see? Some of these things are already going to make you question your life right now. For example, two biggest things that I've been dealing with is one, on my perfect day, I wake up a little bit before the sun rises so I can be up when the sun rises, right? And I've been able to do mostly that because I've taken, I've stopped doing the 6 a.m. classes at the gym, so I don't have to do that anymore. And I did that because I wanted to be closer to my perfect day. So I could have had the opportunity to make more money, but it would still keep me one step away from my perfect day. But the second one is what I really want to see when I open the window is the ocean from a height. And I have this specific thing in mind. Again, the more details, the better. From a height, not from the beach. I don't want to live on the beach. I want to live maybe in like a mountain that overlooks the ocean or a cliff or something. And that's something that I'm looking for now, right? I had the opportunity to go to Austin for a job. It was a great job. But if I move to Austin now, it's going to be at least 3-5 years until I can make another move to somewhere where I can see the ocean from a cliff. Maybe it would be good for my career, but for me, and the point of this exercise is for us not to push back our timelines, because that's the trap that we all fall into. When I make enough money, I'll go do that. When I retire, I'll go do this. Let me just get a couple more years, a little bit more experience, and make a little bit more money before I do this. We all know people that do that, right? We do it ourselves a lot, and that's a trap. That thing rarely comes. That time rarely comes. So I'm trying to get to that place as soon as possible, right? And that's going to be the next step, is how do we get to all the things in your perfect day as soon as possible. Try not to put it off, any of those things. But we'll go back. What do you see when you open the windows? What is the first thing you do, right? Do you have a morning routine? You cold plunge, you take a shower, you make some coffee, you meditate, you read a book, you read a newspaper, you watch a little bit of TV. As an example, I have mine that I like to have a little bit of a garden, maybe some chickens or something like that, and I just take care of those things. And then you're going to describe your day, right? What happens after that? What happens after that? Ideally, with as much detail as possible, not only about things, but people, settings. Do you live in an apartment? Do you have to go down the stairs to the kitchen? Is it all on the same floor? And as many details as possible. What does the house look like? In this perfect day, one of the questions that people ask is, am I going to have a job? And that is up to you. It's your perfect day. But I always encourage people to find what's called their ikigai. Ikigai, if you read self-help books, you might know what this is. And it's the purpose of being, which is the thing that you do that make you feel useful. For people that don't work, for people that don't produce something, a lot of the purposefulness will come from family, probably, right? Taking care of family and being there for their kids or grandkids or nieces, whatever. But I truly believe that each person can always contribute something to society. Uh, and it doesn't have to be to society, it could be to the community, it could be to those around you. Um, Ikigai comes from the Japanese, and it's something that they have in their culture, right? As you get older, you still have your role. That's why you see 80-year-olds, 90-year-olds still working in Japan. And if they're not working, they're the host of the family, right? People come to their homes for their lunches and dinners, and they're the ones that pass down stories. Much different than what a retired person is or an elderly person is in Western countries where they just go to homes to just hang out at home. That feeling of purposefulness is something that not only keeps you alive, but it keeps you happy and it keeps you healthy. So you don't have to work, but I strongly encourage you to find where your ikigai is. What is the thing that makes you feel alive? The thing that you wake up and you're like, I can't wait to go do this. Not for your enjoyment, but for the help that you will give others. As a coach, that would be mine. If let's say I'm taking this and this is my ikigai, but it doesn't have to be, right? Usually the ikigai is going to be the thing that is your passion that you can make money of. Um, Many people, we go back to talking about jobs, many people do a job just for the money of it, just for the prestige of it, just for the status of it. If we all find a job that we love to do and we can make money of, that's the thing that you're going to wake up and be like, I can't wait to go do this, right? So if you have more questions about ikigai, I'll make another video, or you can just message me directly. But the point of that is, sure, work will be in your perfect day if you want to. Hopefully, it's going to be your ikigai. And with that will come all these other questions, right? If you do work, where do you work? With who do you work? All these details. What's your lunch look like? What does afternoon look like? What's your dinner look like? What your after dinner looks like? When you go to bed? And in this perfect day, you will put some of the hobbies that you want to do. And the hobbies part is not going to be in the timeline. So, for example, if I say I want to, my perfect day, be able to do my martial arts, work out at the gym, surf, and go camping or hiking. Clearly, I'm not going to do all four in one day. That might be in the rotation in like a weekly or monthly basis. But you still want to write those things because that might help you find out a location or a schedule that you like to have. So, for example, in mine, right, I have martial arts, working out, something in the ocean, could be snorkeling, surfing, or whatever, and camping or hiking or something like that. In order to do that, I have to find not only a schedule for my ikigai, for my work, and my other chores, but I also have to find a location that fits these. LA maybe could do the surfing, martial arts, and working out, but I don't know if hiking. I don't know much about LA, but I'm just giving examples. But Denver could do the hiking, but I wouldn't be able to do the beach. So that'll narrow down my ideas of what I would like and where I'd like to be. And you're just gonna write that perfect day in its entirety. And this might take 3 drafts, 4 drafts to actually get to it. And this is something that you might do every year because goals will change and your thoughts will change and what you want will change. But the biggest point of this exercise is not for you to have that, it's for you to compare that with your current life and see what are the choices that you're making that are keeping you from doing this, right? as a coach, as somebody that cares about you, and hopefully you have that thought about yourself, I the thought is I want me to be as happy as possible. I want me to live the best life I can. And as a coach with you, I want that for you because that's what we're working for. And if you're happy, I'm happy. If you're happy, you're productive. If you're happy, you're helping others. That's the goal. That's the goal for all of us. So we look at what's the perfect day look like? What are the things that you're doing in your life right now? And we look, what are the changes that we can do? Maybe some of the changes are going to be harder than others. For example, my location change is something that's very hard for me to fix, right? Um, because location changes, it involves jobs, friends, family, uh, involves money, right? It's very hard to pick up and move somewhere. But if it's a job, that might be a little bit easier. If it's groups of people you hang out with, it might be a little bit easier. If it's the hobbies that you want to do but you're not currently doing, that might be a little bit easier. And then you have to have that talk with yourself. Am I willing to let go of the things to live this perfect life? That's going to be always the hardest part, is the taking the action, right? Writing down and comparing, that's easy. But part of that is my job also to help you with those things. I'm here to support you. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to encourage you. I'm here to make sure that you do things the best way possible. So when you get to that stage, right, that's the part that I would love for you to talk to me about, the differences and how do we tackle those things. So that's a perfect day exercise. I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that you do it as often as possible. And when you have any questions, just send it out to me.